biggest class we've recruited since I've been here. With 25 kids coming in. We recruited 12 different states to get 25 guys, so we were working pretty good this year. But I think we, I think we really balanced our class out pretty good. We've got somebody at about every spot, and so we feel pretty good about it. Find out this fall, how many of them compete for a job right away. But I think we've had a couple of good recruiting classes back to back. That's one of the areas where we really have probably hurt ourselves a little bit. For a couple of years, we missed on too many guys that either didn't develop or had issues and are no longer in our program. And I think the past couple of years we've done a little better job evaluating the kids that we're bringing in, and I feel really good about it. Still like all the kids that we brought in last year's class, and I think this class is very similar, very representative. Guys that love to play football and guys that are really good football players and guys that fit at Wake Forest. So last couple of classes, I think we're doing a better job evaluating the kids we're bringing in. I think this class is going to be very strong class for us.
Coach, like you said, a strong class, and definitely, at least on paper, the highest rated class you've brought in since I've been here. It hasn't been easy though for you guys. You held on to almost everyone in the class, but you had to weather the storm of losing Coach Galloway, and who was one of your top recruiters. So, what would you attribute y'all's success to?
Well, I like the energy that we've got on our staff right now. I think, really thought when we went to the Orange Bowl and when we had a couple really good seasons after that, won bowl games, that was going to really help us in recruiting. But in reality, we got hurt a little bit because some of the guys that we had were pretty good players, and I think some of the high school kids felt like it'd be a while before they could come in and play. And the past couple of years, I think our young guys looked at us and said, "Hey, I got to Wake Forest and play in a hurry." And I think that's really helped us in recruiting. And I think the energy that we've got right now with our coaching staff is really good. Our guys enjoy recruiting, and I think we've had a couple of years that we weren't real happy with. And I think we've got a little bit of renewed purpose, I think, in recruiting. And I think one of the things that happens, and it's one of the things that I worried about, when we had the real successful run with Aaron Curry and Fonzo and all those guys, I really worried that we would maybe move up a little bit as far as bigger, faster, stronger, but maybe not do as good a job finding guys that love to play the game and those kind of things. That's what we've been successful with, is guys that came in and had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and maybe weren't recruited by some of the bigger programs. And we won a lot of games with those guys, and I think we've probably gotten a little bit different level ability-wise, but maybe lost focus of who we're recruiting and got more into what we're recruiting as far as height, weight, and speed. So I think we're just doing a better job, I think, these past couple of years of finding guys that fit at Wake Forest and have a real love for the game.
Yeah, not to take away from any of the efforts from anyone on your staff, but it seems like to me Coach Heimbach and Coach Jackson may be a significant part of that new energy that you're talking about on your staff. Talk about the impact that they've been able to have in recruiting for you guys.
Yeah, I think Tim Duffy and all these guys are just really doing a good job. I think Brian Moore's one of our great recruiters. Raymond Carter's always been really good in the road. Getting to be an older guy now, but he still recruits like he's 25. I mean, he just all of our guys are committed to going out and working it. As I said, we're bringing in players from 12 different states. We start in North Carolina. That's really, really important to us. But Georgia, Florida, Texas have been really, really good. But with the academics at Wake Forest, we can't just settle into one state or have a region. We've got to go find players. We've got a kid coming from California, a kid coming from Massachusetts, kids from a lot of different places. And I think that's one thing that our guys have done a good job. I think one of the things that we've done in recruiting, our guys have been very unselfish. If our guys find a good player, they may not actually be coaching the kid when he gets here. It may not be the position coach that finds him, but our position coaches have cross-recruited really, really well. So I think, in other words, Ray McCartney, may find a defensive back in Florida that we really, really like, and Tim Duffy's done a really good job helping him recruit that kid. So I think we've done a good job establishing relationships with the area recruiter, but I think the crossover, the guys that actually are going to coach that position have done a great job helping out. It's been a real team effort, I think, and we really have coaches that are unselfish, and we don't care if one coach brings in 7 kids if they're the right kids. So we're not just going out trying to recruit kids because it's our area for a pat on the back. We're trying to make sure all the kids we bring fit.
Coach, when you're scrambling at the end, it seemed like you started out strong, had a good base on the rating services of 3 stars, and then at the end you kind of went down to 2-star guys. Is that because you missed on some guys you wanted?
Well, yeah, I think that always happens, Michael. But I think one of our real concerns at the end of recruiting was that we just didn't take guys to fill slots, and that's what made it really, really tough because. We really didn't want to go to plan B. We wanted to make sure that if we got a guy that he was a really, really good football player. And I think the danger for everybody is, you're on some kids late and you may get some and you may not get some. And when you don't get them, the thing you don't want to do is just fill a slot because those guys can be with you for 4 or 5 years. And if they never play, you've just wasted a scholarship. So that was the hardest part for us, making sure that especially late, that we didn't take a player that we didn't really feel good about as far as, not only being successful at Wake Forest in the classroom, but being able to come in and really play football for us.
Is this a case where you're looking for most immediate help, in an area, most programs expect at least offensive line? You guys have been looking for some offensive line help. Can these guys come in and play?
I hope so, Dan. I think the 2 areas that we felt like we really needed help. We're in the offensive line and at linebacker. And I think we've recruited some really good players, and a lot of these kids were the early commits that looked at our depth chart and said, hey, I can go play in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I think it's harder for an offensive lineman to play in a hurry, but we need them to. We need them to, and so we'll see. I think we've got 4 really good ones coming in, and I like the linebacker group that we've got right now. I think we've got some guys that have length to them, can really run, possibly play inside or outside linebacker, which is a bonus for us being a 3-4 defense. And, so I think we took care of our needs pretty good. But after last season with the injuries that we had, some of the lack of production in some positions, there are a lot of guys on this group that are thinking they're going to come in and help us in a hurry, and I'm not opposed to that. If they can, come on.
Speaking of linebacker, Coach, one of the linebackers you guys signed, Ali Lamont from Eastern Alamance. We spoke with him today. He's very excited about coming to Wake Forest. Talk a little bit about him.
Well, I think the thing we like about Ali is he's got really good foot speed. He's got really good height and length. When I talk about length, we see guys with big frames that have a chance to put weight on, and I think he's one of those kids that, we look at him with good enough foot speed to play outside. I think he's already, he's growing just since we started recruiting him. He's getting bigger, gaining weight. I think could play inside linebacker for us, and I think he's even a kid that potentially could be a defensive end. He's just got that kind of ability to rush the passer, and I think he can drop into coverage. So this is a kid that, based on how big he gets, can play a lot of different places. We're going to start him probably as an outside backer, but I think he could be big enough to move inside, and if he does the kind of things like a Calvin Pace did, he could actually end up being a down guy that's coming off the edge.
Coach, you went through a little dry spell early in the recruiting season after the last signing class. Didn't take a commitment till Cameron Gardner, I think, in early June, and then Brad Watson. But it seemed like things really began to take off for you guys with this recruiting class when Corey Helms and Josh Harris committed. Would you talk about the impact that those 2 had, maybe sort of setting the foundation in time for this recruiting class?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, what we're different than a lot of people in is we don't offer a lot of early scholarships, you know, because we'll never back out of a commitment. You know, if we have a kid that makes an early commitment to us, we're going to stick with him. We're not going to keep looking for the next best player and then into January dropping. And with that in mind, we've got to really be careful. I mean, we've got to make sure that we really love a kid before we offer him a scholarship, because when he commits, we're going to honor that commitment. So we're a little slower getting started than some people are. And I think, you know, guys like Corey Helms and Josh Harris had a great program and great players. You know, when those guys commit to you, you know, Brad, you mentioned Brad Watson, you start getting those early commitments out of those guys, it does tend to start to snowball. And I think, you know, certainly when other players start seeing that you're getting commitments from good players, it makes them feel like they want to be part of that class. And I think that's one of the things that's been fun. I think this is a group, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or whatever, they've connected. You know, they really have been close, and I just feel like these guys almost have developed a family before they've gotten here. You know, we talked about last year. I thought last year's freshman class was really, really close. We had that closeness with the fresh Deeks, you know, with Curry and Fonzo and Stan and Chip and KP and all those guys. And I think last year's class that we brought in had that kind of feel, and I think this class already has started that. So it's been a group that I think has gotten to know each other, you know, either on their visits or on the internet, and it seems to be a really close class, and we haven't even brought them. We've got 3 of them here right now, but you know, it's a class that I think feels good about being together.
Well, one guy, it sort of, it almost seemed like when Coach Galloway left, I hate going back to that, but Tyree Harris, a lot of people thought he may go somewhere else because he was picking up offers from other schools, but he hung in there with you guys, and he was the first to send in his letter of intent today, and he was adamant that he was committed to Wake Forest. I mean, I got to believe you're really excited about him.
Oh, gosh.
What are some of the thoughts you have about him?
Well, I think the cool thing about, you know, Tyrese, I think he's got the ability to run past people, but he also can play in the slot. You know, with Mike Campanera being a senior, you know, we feel like Johnny Armstrong, who got on a little bit late as a slot, is a special guy, but we think Tyree is too. And, you know, some of the things we're going to be doing, we're going to be using more possession receivers, and so we think Tyree's got the ability to catch a football and get it underneath and do some damage, but he can also run past. He's got the really good foot speed. And I think, you know, that what we're just talking about, I think Corey Helms and Josh Harris really helped keep Tyree in the boat. You know, Georgia kids that wanted to come in and protect the passer, but they knew we need guys to throw it to. So I think they were a big help to us. And of course, all of our offensive line guys just are in love with Jonathan Heimbach. I mean, they want to come. They had a chance to come, watch practice, be around Javi, and I think all of that offensive line group knows they can come in and help us in a hurry, but I think we're looking forward to playing for them.
Jim, one thing you know you're going to need is a center of Garrett graduating, obviously. You always talk about the importance of the center. Just lying around the center. Is Corey Helms that kind of guy? That would take a real special player to walk right into a program and play center.
Yeah, it would. But the thing about Corey Helms that I really like, he's got great ability. He's had a lot of people try to take him away from us. I think he realizes that we have a need at center, and you know, realizes he might come in and play. The thing I like about Corey Helms, he's a tough guy. You know, this guy brings it. You know, he's got a little bit of attitude, a little bit of nastiness to him, and you know, fits Wake Forest, but I think he's a guy that can do all the things we need him to do across the street, but then he can come over and be an ACC football player. He's a guy that we're going to take a good hard look at in a hurry.
Jim, are you worried, not worried, maybe concerned, looking at your roster, you basically have 3 running backs on the roster. One of them has had injury problems throughout his career. And one was coming off an injury a year and a half ago when he came in as a freshman. So basically you're down to those 3 guys. And the one you got this year is also coming off a knee injury. Are you a little concerned about that position? You would like it.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, I think we ought to have 4 pretty solid running backs. You know, when we start in August, you know, we need Des Worthing to get healthy. You know, we feel like he's really special, got good speed and good size. And, you know, feel like he'll be a guy that can come in and compete. You know, we need, you know, both you know, Will Hyde, DeAndre Martin to be more dependable. You know, they've not been real dependable so far. We need those guys to step up. I think, you know, Josh had the concussion last year, but other than, you know, getting his bell rung at Notre Dame, really was pretty durable for us last year. I think he's just matured to the point where he's a guy that we can count on right now. And we've got some other guys in our program. Examples, a guy like you know, Dominic Gibson that I think you know, could be a running back for us. We've got some skilled guys in our program that played running back in high school. We've got a couple guys coming in this class right now that could play running back, I think. So I don't think that having numbers is going to be a problem, but having the guys that can step up and get the job done, that's what we're looking for. But I don't think numbers is going to be an issue for us.
Coach, you said linebacker was an area of concern, and I think you did a fantastic job addressing that with this class. But it seems like also a couple of guys like Duke, let's see, Ali, those guys can, and maybe Julian Thomas Jackson had the flexibility to get down and play defensive end too.
That's what we're looking at. Yeah, with Julian and Duke especially, you know, I think we really look at Duke as being an edge rusher, being a speed rush guy. Julian the same way, but the thing that kind of hooks you on these guys, they can really run. I mean, they really have good foot speed. And so, you know, I think we've got, you know, some guys that really have an opportunity to play a lot of places. You know, if you play off the edge for us, an outside linebacker, you get big enough, certainly gives you an opportunity to go inside and play inside backer. And if you really get big enough, you can be an edge rusher for us. So we really feel like that's what's happened to us with those linebacker positions. We've got some guys that have the height and the frame to put weight on that can play a lot of different positions for us. Not only that, but special teams is another area. I think what we've got is we've got a bunch of Kyle Wilbur type guys that might give us a chance to you know, be really flexible with all of them.
So is the goal, I guess, or expectation for your inside, or your outside linebackers to maybe be interchangeable with your defensive ends? Is that
very similar to the way we look at our defensive secondary? You know, I think we've got some guys. If you look at the guys we took in the secondary, most of those guys have enough size and speed to play on the corner or play safety, and that's kind of it was our goal with the linebacker position. You know, I think Markel Lee and Ford Howell, who are already here, are inside linebackers. That's the way we look at those guys. Markel runs well enough to play outside backer. I think Ford's more of an inside linebacker for us, but with all those linebackers that we just signed today, those are all guys that we feel can play on the edge or move inside, and that was kind of what we were looking for, is flexibility.
Who's the third this year, Jim?
Is Joe Lee's clone, James.
Oh, good, great.
We got James here, and he's got the same hair as me. My wife Holly did a double take when she saw him, you know, on campus. It looked like we had Joe back again, so we're excited about him. We're actually going to play him in the defensive front.
Yeah.
Nose guard, and he's got a chance. But having 3 guys here right now is going to be good. You know, we need some help at inside backers, some depth. We need some help up front, and having James here already will help us.
So who is James Looney? I mean, besides being look like his brother, what is he quicker?
Well, I hate to do that to him. You know, I hate to compare him to each other. I was afraid we wouldn't get him because of that. You know, sometimes it hurts you when you've got a kid that maybe doesn't want to follow in the footsteps of his big brother. But we feel like that he's so similar to Joe in that he runs really well. That's why we're starting out on defense. I think that's what he wants to do. I think he can obviously play offensive line. I think he can be a center for us, but I think we really need him on the D line right now. He's good enough. He's big enough. He's a big boy now. He's big enough to play nose guard and give us a physical presence, a lot like Big Baby. You know, I think he's a lot like Tyler Harris. He can play defensive end, can play nose guard. He's got a problem with his foot right now. He had a screw in his foot, and it's not quite big enough. We got to go in Friday and put a bigger screw in his foot because he's a big guy. But he's a guy we got really high hopes for to help us.
Secondary, that was obviously an area where y'all lacked depth last season with injuries and other things that came up. Do you feel like you really addressed that this signing class? Is this?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at the numbers we took, and you can see that we thought that was an important area. I think bringing 5 secondary guys in, and again, the ability to interchange. I think one of the things that we struggled with this year was having solid play out of our safeties. You know, having Morel Noel hurt didn't help for sure. But I thought we had a great year out of KJ. I thought he played really, really good. Didn't really want to take a shirt off James Ward, but had to. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see great improvement out of AJ. I think, you know, moving him to safety was a great move for us, but I don't think it was natural. I think it took a while for him to develop, and I think he'll be a better tackler this fall. We got to get some help at safety right now. I think, you know, you'd like to think that Morel will stay healthy now. You know, hopefully not have the injuries that he had last fall, and I think KJ's really going to be special. So I think we've got the numbers now that we need, but what we've got to really see, we've got to develop some help at safety, because I thought you know, we really missed Josh Bush and Kyle Carroll. You know, those were 2 guys that we didn't realize were going to be as hard to replace as they were, but as we got into the season, we realized, you know, that was a problem. So I think the numbers, we're going to let them all come in and compete, and you know, we've got to, we need help, you know, everywhere in the secondary. Certainly depth is an issue, especially on special teams. That's something we ran into at the end of the year with the injuries. Our special teams really suffered. So big concern for us with speed at linebacker and speed in the secondary, not just for position players, but guys that can help us on special teams.
Now those guys in the secondary, do you feel like all of them can play safety and corner, or is it more?
Well, I think so, but I think what we learned, and I think you're going to see a great improvement out of AJ this fall. But I think one of the things we've got to have is aggressive tacklers and safety, and that's what we lacked a little bit this year. You know, we were not as strong as we needed to be at times in coverage down the middle of the field. But I think more times than not, probably had more big runs against our defense this year because of safety play than anything else. And if you go back to 2 years ago when Kyle and Josh were our safeties, we really didn't have a lot of long runs against our defense. We had some throws, but we didn't have a lot of long runs. That's, we got to get back to limiting big plays defensively, and that's basically the responsibility of the secondary.
This may be the tallest group because of backs I've seen the way across.
Yeah.
You have some good size back there.
I think so, Michael. That's something that, you know, when you try to find the combination of height and speed, it's not easy. You know, it's easy to go find guys that can run. You know, that's a thing with Morel Noel. You know, he's a really good player, but he's really got to be on his game because he's not a very big guy. If he comes out and has the average game, you know, it's not good. So he's got to play a little above his head all the time. And the thing that you like is guys that have a little bit of height to them that can go compete for passes. And for us, the real challenge for us in the fall is going to be finding guys in there at the safety position that are big enough to come up and bring in the running game, but at the same time flip their hips and get back and play coverage.
Speaking of secondary, what's the latest with D-Lo and Daniel Mack still be pro?
Daniel Mack is going to graduate. He wants to go ahead and graduate. He wants to be a fireman.
Wow.
He's got it. I think he wants to get back home closer to his mom and help her a little bit. And so he's decided to go ahead and graduate. He's a really, really good student and wants to go ahead and get his degree and move on. And with D'Lo, we'll just see. You know, we're not anywhere with him right now. We'll continue to work with him, but that's a decision down the road to be made.
Is Bowling the decision be down the road, or is that?
He's going to graduate. Devin's going to graduate.
Coach, I apologize. I had some technical difficulties during your opening statement, but I was just wondering if you could touch on what Ben was speaking on as far as this class maybe being as good as you've had here on paper or whatnot. Can you just compare this class that you have to classes that you've had while at Wake Forest?
Well, it's certainly the biggest class that we brought in with 25 guys, and I think the thing that we've done is balanced it out pretty good. You know, we felt like we really needed help at linebacker. We needed help in the offensive line immediately. Whether we get that or not, I can't tell you, but we filled numbers in those slots. I think we've done a good job with the secondary numbers. We've got a good group of corners and safeties coming in. But I just thought overall it's a pretty balanced class, and I think it's a pretty talented, group of guys. We probably need some of those guys to come in and help us. We've got to be better about that. Last year, we probably kept 4 or 5 guys on the shelf that we shouldn't have. We waited until about mid-season and then just wouldn't pull the trigger with them. But had we played some more guys, especially on special teams, by the end of the year would have been a better football team. So I think we've got to be a little bit more aggressive in trying to get these guys on the field early. We've got to make sure we don't waste a year of eligibility on them, but we're going to be pretty aggressive in August trying to figure out ways to get these young guys on the field.
You feel good about this recruiting class as far as talent, though? Is it one of the best maybe that you've had?
I think so. I think, with 25 guys coming in, I would say they're probably more blue chip kind of guys than we've had in the past overall. And that may be just because of numbers. We're bringing in more guys. We've still taken some guys that we love, their heart, their work ethic, and they're the kind of kids that the coach has to run off the practice field, run out of the weight room, and that kind of stuff. And that's typical of Wake Forest kids. But I think we've got more guys that we're looking at with the ability to maybe come in and help us right away that aren't as big of projects maybe as we've had in the past overall.
Coach, you had some schools at the very end try to come in late, like Georgia Tech tried to do it with Joshua Kanye and Brad Watson, and they stuck with you. And Josh Harris turned down the school that he grew up cheering for in Tennessee. That's got to make you feel good as a coach, just about your incoming guys, and just would you speak about that and just?
Well, I think what happened in a lot of cases is our coaches did a good job of developing personal relationships. And I think, some of the teams that came back and tried to snatch some of our guys late couldn't do it because of the personal relationship that Jonathan Heimbach had built with the other line guys, that Tim Duffy had built with the secondary guys, that Derek Jackson had built with the linebacker groups. And not only that, but the area recruiters have developed strong ties and relationships. And, that's what we're about at Wake Forest. We're about personal relationships. We're not as big as everybody else, but I think, coming in here, you're going to come and be around good people. And that, in almost every case, we had one defector, but in almost every case, personal relationships are what kept these guys loyal to Wake Forest.
And you had some late pickups, too. Ones that sort of surprised me, guys I had no idea about. Julian Thomas Jackson, and let's see, the kicker, and the kid from California, Hauser. I mean, it seems like they sit in their film, and it just seemed very unusual. You sort of break down their recruitments?
Yeah, I think that the thing that our guys did a good job, we didn't get lazy at the end. We kept scratching and looking. We really felt like this needed to be a big class for us. And we really have a rule of thumb that if we get late in recruiting, that we're not going to just take guys to fill slots. The problem with Hauser, we got on Andrew really, really late. He plays in a great program with great coaching. He's a big middle linebacker, and we really You know, we're not looking